Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? It's me, Adaeze Chiwoko, and I was driving to where I'll be working today, and I listened to a lot of sort of personal development podcasts, and just something occurred to me about gratitude and about everybody having a breaking point, and about how we can check out of our relationships in our mind, in our spirit, emotionally, before we've ever gotten a divorce. How many of you guys know that there's many of you married to spouses who have already divorced you in their spirit, in their mind? They've divorced you emotionally. Now, it got me thinking about how we can take each other for granted to the point that we lose our spouses. Like, I find that there's husbands maybe who will continue to put their wives down, and because maybe they know that they've married a Christian woman who is not likely to divorce them, they feel that that's okay. And maybe because this woman hasn't come out and said, look, I am going to leave you, they feel like this woman is superwoman. No, she's not. She has left you a long time ago. Everybody has a breaking point. She will reach a point where she says, I can't take this anymore. I may not leave you physically, but in my mind and in my heart, I've gone. I have divorced you. There's plenty of men who have been put down so much by their wives, and because maybe they're Christian men, they have not come out and said, I'm going to divorce you. They may not be likely to divorce you, but they have divorced you in their spirit and in their heart. Because you know what happens? We get comfortable. We've been married to this person for a long time. They don't need all the love anymore. They don't need to receive affection anymore. They don't need us to make an effort anymore. They don't need all the respect that we were given before. They don't need all that. We can treat them like anything. Is it not just the person that's in this house? I see them morning, noon and night. I don't need to be grateful to have them every day. I don't need to be affectionate with them. I don't need to put in work with them. I don't need to honor them anymore. They're here regardless. Whether I honor them or I don't honor them, they're not going anywhere. Whether I respect them or I don't respect them, they're not going anywhere, because they signed up to marry me for life. And when you get married as a Christian, we don't believe in divorce, so I can treat you any old way. Everyone has a breaking point. Everyone has a breaking point. This person may stay with you physically, but they checked out a long time ago. And if that's what you want, if your whole idea when you were getting married, your desire was to have a spouse who was not connected with you, who was not one with you, who wasn't bothered about you anymore emotionally, who you guys were just living in a house like flatmates, then well done, you've achieved that. Well done. And that is a quick way of getting to that. But if when you got married, you said, I want to have a marriage that is flourishing, that lasts, that we are one, that we're united, then I'm not going to take this person for granted. I'm not going to push this person. I'm not going to risk them divorcing me in their spirit. I know that you've divorced in your spirit. You guys don't even say goodnight to each other. You guys go to bed and one turns one way, the other turns the other way. You guys don't know what's going on in each other's lives. You guys barely talk. They're not your best friend. You've got best friends outside of the house. You can hardly communicate. The only time you communicate is to talk about the running of the household, and that's it. You don't share your dreams together anymore. You don't do that. This person isn't your confidant anymore. This person isn't the love of your life anymore. He's just your husband. She's just your wife, because you've checked out, because they have checked out. And I'm finding that there's many of us that have checked out of the relationship because this other spouse has not realized that we have a breaking point. There's a breaking point. And I was using my mouth terribly, not realizing that my husband had a breaking point. Husbands that are continually cheating on their wives. Your wife has a breaking point. There'll be a point where she will smile at you, but she is out in her heart and her mind. Wives that are treating their husbands badly, taking him for granted. It's fine. He will still pay the bills, maybe. You know, he may still help in the house, but he is checked out. He's gone in his heart and in his mind. And if that's the kind of marriage you're happy to settle for, go ahead. But I know for me, I want a marriage that is flourishing, that is prosperous, that is passionate, that is exciting, that we're united, we love each other. And to get that, it means I cannot take his strength for granted. That's it. Don't take my strength for granted. Don't take his strength for granted. Don't take his willingness to make this marriage work for granted. Some of you, because you know your spouse is always the peacemaker, they're always the one that's quick to say sorry, you will push and push and push and push and push. They have a breaking point. They have a breaking point. Nobody is superhuman. It may not be this year. It may not be 5 years' time. It may not be 10 years' time. But at some point, they're going to say, I've had enough. One day you have to say sorry. Maybe this person is always the one that is taking the fault, the blame for everything. And you are comfortable with putting that on their shoulders and never taking the blame yourself. It's always somebody else's fault. That person is going to reach a breaking point. Maybe you're the one that is always quick to get angry. Everything that happens, you get angry and you think it's okay. Yeah, because that's you. That's how God made me. I'm an angry person. A lot has happened in my life. So anything happens to me, I'm going to get angry. And you think that your spouse is going to be comfortable living in a house with you where any moment you're ready to flip. Anytime you're flipping. We don't know whether you're left or right. You flip here, there and everywhere with anger. Just take a moment and consider to yourself, one day your spouse is going to say, I've had enough. They may not say it to you. You may be here thinking that you're married when really in the spirit you're not. They checked out. Emotionally you're not. They checked out. Because you took them for granted. You took them working hard, trying to make this marriage work. You took it for granted. You took them always trying to be the peacemaker. You said it was weakness. You took them for granted. You took their desire to always put you first. You took it for granted. You took it for granted. The fact that this man always works hard. He works hard to provide. You took it for granted. You took it for granted. Just be careful because they may just check out sooner than you know it. A lot of us have become divorced in the spirit years before we become divorced physically. Some of you may never get divorced physically. But sometimes actually being divorced spiritually and living with somebody who actually isn't connected with you is worse. It's worse. So I want you to be careful. It's so easy to become over familiar. It's so easy to take what's there beside us every single day for granted. It's so easy to take that thing that we treasured. We prayed for it. We desired this thing and now we got it. We devalue it. It's so easy to let pride take over, and before you know it, you're taking this person for granted. You're taking the mick. You're pushing them too far, and at some point they're gonna break, and they'll divorce you in their heart, in their mind, and in their spirit. Have a great day, guys. If you're not already following me, please do hit the like button. Also, I really need you guys to be sharing these videos. I'm on a little bit of a challenge to reach a certain number of views by the end of this year. Good morning to everybody that's been watching, and thank you so much for your support. Like I always say, if you have any topics that you want me to address, feel free to message me, and also go ahead to YouTube and check out some of my videos there. Search Adaeze Chiwoko. Have a blessed day and go and appreciate the spouse that you have.